Now it should work. For some unknown reason, the Microsoft update deactivated my audio device. Welcome everyone to the Voice of the Terminus show. We're here to do another player Q&A. We've got Josh with us. Hi, say hello, Josh.
Hey guys.
We've got Lex with us on the right. Say hello, Lex.
Hello.
And we're joined by Alexis Summerwood, one of the people behind Pantheon Roleplayers website. Say hello.
Hi guys.
So we're here to talk about the website and talk about Pantheon. And Lex, you want to go and start it all off and get into all the goodies?
All the goodie questions.
Yep.
We got through those earlier. For those of you watching who don't get it, I was accused of flirting with our special guest earlier.
Oh, well, no,
And me, I never do anything. Come on. So, tell us a little bit about your gaming background.
Well, some of this might date me just a little bit, but we're going to do it anyway. I started gaming on Atari and television. You know, the greatest, best thing ever was Nintendo 64. So that was kind of where my gaming started. And then somewhere, I guess, early 2000s, somebody made the mistake of handing me a copy of EverQuest. And that was the start. Right?
Brilliant.
So yeah, that was probably the start of it all. I think it was early 2000, so it wasn't too long after launch. And when I logged in, I decided to start a mage because I thought, well, this could be fun. Casting, spells, throwing magic around. So my gaming life kind of started out as a mage and then merged into playing a cleric and then an enchanter. So yeah, basically that's where I started, EverQuest. It was the hook.
It was the downfall to my life.
It really was. I had a social life before EverQuest. Oh my God.
EverQuest is one of those kind of games where the first time you're introduced to it, a week goes by and you go, wait, there's an outside?
I mean,
right.
You're supposed to eat food that doesn't come from a microwave? Oh, yeah.
Nah, I was too lazy. I never did the microwave thing.
No, right out of the can into the mouth. EverQuest was also where I found RP, though. I saw people for the first time ever role-playing as characters and interacting with each other. The first experience I really remember from that was an ogre, who just kind of walked into our group and said, ogre smashed, little things like that. So that was kind of an introduction to RP for me at the same time.
I'm not much of an RPer myself, but I can safely say that some of the RPers from EverQuest, they're fully committed and they are just entertaining.
Yeah.
To just watch and listen to. It's amazing. Like some people, they really get into the ogre thing and they're like, duh, ogre punch.
Yeah. I had a friend.
It always makes me laugh.
They do. I had a friend who had never role played before at all. And my partner, Aviana, it's her husband. And so he watches us do it all the time. And he was interested and wanted to get involved. So he made a giant. And that was the funnest thing ever. Somebody new to role play, just, kind of grunting out the things a giant would grunt out. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. So what actually got you interested in Pantheon?
Oh, my goodness. After EQ started to decline and I tried EQ2 and, pretty much almost every other game out there, I was really looking for something that had a gameplay style like EverQuest. And so I started tracking Brad down and following him around, trying to see what he was working on and what was going to happen.
Brad Stoker.
Right? I'm a Brad fangirl. I can't help myself. I'm trying really hard to quit. But yeah, it was following Brad around. Finally, Kickstarter came out and I started reading about the ideas and the development, what they wanted to do. And it just sounded like everything I was looking for again. Most of the games that seem to be coming out between, then and now have been the Twitch gaming and, the PvP style of gameplay. And to me, in those games, you lose the community spirit. It becomes about who you can gank, where you can gank them, this kind of stuff. And so looking around, it really was about finding a game where you can develop a community again. And seeing what they were looking at in Pantheon, that really interested me. And then I thought about gaming in an EverQuest world with amazing graphics and a feeling of immersion and, you know, the wonderful art they're talking about. So for RP, it was just another chance to find a world that you can feel totally immersed in.
Mm.
So yeah, Pantheon, I tell you, I'm so excited.
We all are, yeah.
That's going to be great. And so what are the most exciting things for you in Pantheon currently?
Ooh, that list is long. So I tried to trim it down just a little bit. The class interdependency, that is something that we just haven't really seen in a while. As Aviana would say, she's really tired of being a cleric who's just there for when you run out of healing potions. Right? You know, it's a class that you just, if they run out of healing pots, oh my God, then they need you. But otherwise, you know, it's in the bag. We got this. So the class interdependency was a huge thing. I'm super excited about that. As I said before, too, the community-based game style, that's something that I've been missing for a very long time. So the idea of getting back into a community where you see people shouting and you know who they are, you've spent time with them, you've role-played with them, you've, you know, cleared dungeons with them, you've been on raids with them. So the community-based gameplay is another thing that's huge. Really looking forward to that. The combat style, not Twitch gaming. You know, it would be really fun to actually have to strategize your fight, you know, plan the skills you need, have a little knowledge about the creatures and the area you're fighting in. You know, the whole dexterity is pushing 15 buttons at once. Just, you know, not so much.
Or rolling your face over the keyboard, yeah?
Exactly.
Or
It's
the
just face tap.
Or the gamepad.
Yeah, right? Like, oh, my thumbs hurt. It's like, that's not the point of the game. So, yeah, that's a little, that's really what I'm looking for now. My partner, Aviana, she, you know, she's a little bit of a different gamer than I am. First off, we are both technical gamers. We like to raid, group, you know, do the hard stuff, but we also like to role play. So she's kind of answered a few of these questions for us as well. And for her, the one thing, you know, some of the things that she's super excited about are not being forced to participate in PvP. Who just loves camping a mob for like 10 hours? You know, having somebody walk up behind you and just smack, you're dead. You know, so moving to PvP is awesome. Again, she's also looking forward to the social aspect and a slower paced combat, not pressing 10 buttons at once. And the whole health pot thing. I'm really looking forward to a place where the classes matter. You can't just, you know, bottle your way out of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what class and race are you likely to pick, and why?
This one is a bit of a hot topic. Yeah, I'm an elf girl. I know it's a girly thing, but I find elves are very malleable. They're very easy to kind of make it to your story and fit my kind of...
And they're crunchy as well.
Those are gnomes. I thought that was gnomes. I thought they made better treats. So yeah, I want to be an elf, and I plan to play an enchanter. And my partner is a little upset about all of this because she would love to be an elf cleric, but that is not going to be something that's going to be available to her. So she'll probably go the human way, I'm guessing. And part of the reason I like elves is for my RP. It's just, they're attractive to me. I can fall in love with them. I can kind of envision myself in a world with them and create a family and environment and hopefully paint an entire narrative and picture.
Well, elves do have the romantic language when it comes to games.
Right. Traditionally, anyway.
Exactly.
And when it comes to picking your race, for min-maxers, it's very important, especially if there's racial benefits. However, with our peers, it almost feels like it's doubly important because it really is who you are going to personify and who you are actually going to be rather than just what you're going to play.
Exactly. It's a more rounded view of something. So I can look at a character and say, okay, I want to play a monk. And because this race has rapid regen, you know, that's the best for me to be. But then I have to walk into, you know, a RP group later and start lisping like I am a snake and I speak through a slithered tongue. And, you know, that's it just doesn't suit my style. So, yeah, for me, it's kind of that whole picture. I like the technical aspect, but I also need to be able to fall in love with my character.
Okay, just a question, just to add on to what you said over there. I mean, do you and Aviana like to start in the same area together at the beginning of a game? Because if she's going to be human, you're going to be cleric, you might be starting in separate cities.
Yes.
How does that work?
This is something I recently discussed on the website under Alex's Corner, which is kind of like my little blog about Pantheon. And we were discussing this because that's really an interesting point. They've discussed not having a lot of fast travel in the game.
Yeah.
So if I have to fight my way to the human city to try to get to her at level 2, we might have an issue. So that's going to be a unique thing for us to kind of come across, because in the games in the past, you haven't had that in a long time.
Well, you know, just on the side note, and a bit of a joke, look on the map. It's just straight down to the right, around the corner, and you're technically there. You have to wander through Avendir's Pass for a little bit, and then make a.
It's about half
left.
an hour, basically.
Yeah, about half an hour. Make a sharp left, and then follow the steps up to Throne Fast.
Don't fall off any rocks, get bit by any snakes, or God forbid run into orcs.
Don't come across the paths of any scars. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, the scar.
They're on a different continent to start off with, so
That won't stop me.
You have a tail, you can swim.
you can't hear me. You can't hear me.
Oh, well, that
You should be
makes
able
my
to hear
side
me.
of the interview sound really lame. Talking to myself.
So, with that out of the way, the class and the race. What is your least favourite race class?
Oh, I don't want to say because Lex likes me right now.
So we've established the scar.
That it's the scar.
Scar. I mean,
That goes without saying.
I could pick something else, but honestly, yeah, they look like an amazing artistic creation. I'm not going to deny that. They are unique to a game. I've never seen anything like it. They do remind me mildly of an Iskar from EverQuest, but again, not really. So it's a new take on a new class or a new race that I've not seen. But when I look at them, I mean, it's just not a character that I can fall in love with. It's not a character.
To be fair, Scar is going to be a very unique case for certain types of players, like me. They are not aesthetically pleasing at all.
And
I just
also,
think
if
they
you're
look
role-playing them as well, I think you'll be exhausted after each playing session. Be like, trying to growl like them, or I don't know.
I have to chase this halfling across Wild's End. Oh, really?
Eat him. I must eat him. Yeah, no, it's a weird race in my opinion. I'm really excited to see how it comes out and how it looks in the world. I'm really interested in seeing how people role play it. To me is going to be fantastic. But just not something I think I can do. Maybe someday I try to exercise the RP brain a little bit and get into an uncomfortable shell. But yeah,
Yeah.
So what about the class?
Okay, the class. My least favorite class is usually something that's really dependent on melee, like being right in close up to the mob. So the warriors, paladins, those types of races, even Shadow Knight type things. I'm more of a stand back at a distance and watch the room and try to analyze what's going on and watch for ads. And so, yeah.
Supervisor.
You bet. Gotta watch what's coming. Not a good chanter. People get swarmed. It's not cool.
So Lex, you're out of luck today, dude.
When am I not?
So follow up with that. So if you had to choose between the two, which one would you pick and why?
That's really kind of sad because I have to say I'd probably pick, if I had to play a Scar to be a chanter, I probably would. Because I can't imagine doing something every day that I don't enjoy. So, yeah, I think I'd have to go with the class over the race. But then there's the whole point that I don't know how long I could look at the back of a Scar's head. So I still think it'd have to be class.
Well, the wonderful thing about enchanters, illusions.
That's right.
Well, we don't really know, but still.
Oh. Well, let's hope, because that would be really cool. Because then I could be a Scar when I want to. Or Dark Mire.
That would be very interesting.
Wouldn't that be neat? Become a little gnome person, little ethereal body.
Well, let's not get crazy here. The last thing I want to be is someone's AA battery.
Oh, come on. At least be motivation.
Well, at least someone can touch me and be like, ooh, electrifying.
We already talked about that.
Yeah, I know.
Another time, different show.
Different world.
Different
Yeah.
show.
That's for the adult show.
Yeah, this is for, VOT night talk.
Right.
Coming soon to a channel, Pantheon VOT to you.
So, what mechanics are you most looking forward to?
I am really looking forward to the AI. Intelligent mobs that actually react based on group style or makeup, based on environment. I mean, to me, they've talked about, the mobs may act differently if you have a cleric in your group versus if you don't. So, really intelligent mob AI is really exciting. I think that's really exciting. Perception system. Oh my God, that blows my mind. Like, I can, just, again, immersed in the city, and you're walking down the street and you hear sobbing over a shoulder, and it draws your curiosity enough to have you turn and approach the NPC and engage them verbally. And, it's not just walk up and hail everybody and try to find someone who has a quest for you or wants to give you something. It's the environment pulling you in and making you, again, really immersed and making it feel more natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like immersion that you don't realize is hooked under your skin and just kind of reeling you in.
That's right.
It also makes the game feel natural.
Yes.
You log into this game, you've come from the real world, you go into your virtual world, and it just feels all natural. You let it just melt over you, and it takes control of you sitting there at the PC. You don't feel like you're playing a game. And like Brad said, he wants to create a world, and that's what you feel like.
Right. And that's the big distinction between Pantheon and a lot of just games. Granted, Pantheon is a game. no one put me on the chopping block.
Don't do it.
But, there's a difference between sitting down and playing a game and interacting with the world.
That's right.
Yeah.
I fully agree. And when you're walking down the street as a character and you see people gathered around an NPC, the curiosity might even pique in you, even without the trigger, of what's going on over there. Yeah. Like, what are these people gathered for? Drawing people in, the town feels alive. To me, AI is so important. Perception system is so important. And I'm also really looking forward to seeing what they do with raid mechanics.
Very true.
Right?
Yeah. The raid mechanics are one of the things that I've done. I'm praying to whatever digital god is listening. I love raiding. I love grouping,
me too.
I'm so tired of a lot of games how they're just like, this boss is going to throw ads at you. And then we'll go to the next boss. And he's going to throw ads at you.
And as a cleric, you're going to stand and face the wall so you don't get lag, and you're never going to get to see a mob, and it's all corner spank and tank, and
that's the biggest problem nowadays. It's all DPS.
Right.
DPS. Healers do DPS. What am I healer?
Exactly.
No, do DPS. We've got to do DPS.
If you're not healing, you're nuking.
We need 40 million DPS. Otherwise, we're not going to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you don't have the best stats and the best gear and the best everything, you can't come because you aren't going to dent the mob we need to kill in 30 seconds.
Exactly.
As a side question, though, would you feel that RPing would actually have a larger place in the raiding scene if raids were more, like, say, the large boss event is kind of drawn out and maybe almost story-driven in a way?
Hell yeah. That's the kind of stuff, like, for us, we envision roleplay in a different scope. To us, it's not just taverns and local towns. We would love to see RP in the world. We would love to see, escort missions where maybe you have a team of really gnarly guys who love to raid, but then you have this group of role players that really aren't all that into it. The guards escort, they fight along the way, you work your way to the big boss, you can role play those events, the raids, the mechanics, the storylines. You really can, and it adds to the gameplay because I'm both. I'm a technical gamer and I'm an RPer. So for me, it's a complete picture now. I get to, smash the mob in the face and kill them, but I also get to pull a really nice story idea out from there. It helps. Yeah, it's excellent. It's really great for RP. We need to get it out of the taverns, people.
Yeah.
Bring
Out
your
of
own
the taverns
keg.
and into the world.
That's right. Bring your own keg. Do what you need to do, but yeah, get it out.
The way they've approached this game, though, it must be a blast for the RP community, with the behaviors, the audio visualization, the visualization from NPCs that start crying and sobbing. It just makes you want to melt in RP.
It does.
Oh, definitely, and I think also your background sounds add so much to the role playing side of it. If you have like dripping in the background in a cave, and you have maybe a soft battle in the distance type of thing, it adds so much to the atmosphere, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, as soon as you started talking, I closed my eyes and I could hear the water dripping and I could smell the stagnant water in the cave.
Exactly.
And, it just takes me to that place. And it's hard to get, it's not impossible to get there artificially, but it's so much more fun when something brings you there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It also adds such a sorry, I just want to add, just adds such a creepy atmosphere as well. If you keep on going towards, and the sound of the battle keeps on getting closer and closer, and you still have to go and louder, and you have to walk around that corner to see what it is. That's incredible.
Oh, God.
We actually have an open RP on our website right now that actually is following that exact theme. We've entered this mine, we hear voices, we're making our way towards the sounds. So very much what you were just saying, you trying to set so they can smell it and see it. And yeah, it's a dark cave and we're working our way towards something we're not quite sure what's there yet, but it sounds awful.
Just going to say right now, if VR can get that right, if they can get the proper atmospheric sounds in the backgrounds and that type of thing for this game, another level, I think.
See,
No.
now you guys got me thinking. Just
Go,
close
Lex,
your
go.
eyes. Picture Halnir's cave. You're with your group. You're killing the rat guys, and then off in the distance you hear like stomping. First it's quiet, then it gets louder and louder, and this giant half zombie rat thing comes around the corner. It's like the size of 5 ogres, and I can see me, being the Scar Dialogue, turn around going, "Screw you guys, I'm out of here.
I'm going home. I didn't sign up.
I'm done."
Third time
That
this
was-
week. That was on cue.
That was the great thing though about the stream when they showed off the artistic effects that they had when they were in Haunier's cave, and you could see the shadows in the distance. Just picture it. You're walking through Haunier's cave with your group. You're sliding along, tiptoeing there through. And you hear all these weird sounds. You get closer, and all of a sudden, around the bend, you go around the bend, and all of a sudden, there's this big, massive monster just standing there. It's just really, really cool. The way they've done the visuals.
I agree. And knowing the fact that all of the graphics are hand done, we're not getting a lot of copy and paste textures. That's really encouraging because to me, that makes me think that the world will be that immersive.
Yeah.
If they can get the scale and the textures down, I think, it really makes the world different as opposed to 2-dimensional branches and, polygon peaked mount hills. And it's like, it's a lot more immersive when you don't hit the top of the hill and immediately fall down the other side.
Because Kasathis has actually a great idea here, something for us to maybe build upon and discuss. Could be great. We have to rest in a tavern to regain a certain form of courage.
Yeah, I remember something like that. I think it was World of Warcraft, maybe. You had to rest in an inn or a bed, and it increased something when you logged back on. I can't remember exactly what it was.
That was their bonus experience system. You log out in an inn, and when you came back, you had rested experience.
Right.
But
I like it. Go ahead.
But just thinking about that though, Lex, could that be something that would be feasible, doable, to have some kind of courage bar that you have to build back up? So basically, you add getting frightened or or surprised, and that basically knocks down your courage, and you have to have that courage back up, build it back up. Could that be something?
Maybe.
We'll have to
What
give
about
that
a
something to
time?
think about.
I think that would be a fighter's type of ability. You have fighters that can hold the courage of the group type of thing, and knock it back down. And it might even affect your game playing, where that fear causes you to actually not be able to move for a few seconds until that subsides, and then you can keep on playing type of thing.
It's definitely a cool thing that I could definitely see the melee tank classes having some kind of courage form, and the higher it is, the more you might resist the fight or resist the fear and stuff like that.
Correct.
Or even perception.
Yeah.
Like if you think about this in a line of perception as well, maybe if you're too tired, if you're fatigued, you won't, pay attention to the voice coming from, across the road or.
Oh, yeah.
So I could see it even tying into a perception type system.
Yeah.
I smell
Where
a
you
speculation show.
Oh, yes.
Do it.
Yeah. But we'll get back on topic
Yeah.
Okay.
for now. For now.
I've lost track of what question we were at.
I know exactly what we are. If you could play Pantheon right now, what would you do and where would you go?
You guys aren't going to like my answer. I would want to honestly explore the world. And I know that's such a cliche answer, but as an RPer, I would want to see different lands and see their culture and try to place that in with the lore and just situate myself in the world. I would love to see all of the starting cities. I imagine that they've put a ton of work from what we've seen already from Thronefast. There's so much work in detail that just checking out the cities alone, I'm sure, could take me, I don't know, a couple of weeks. And then, of course, as you're moving to each city, you're discovering unique and little cool things along the way. You're finding those little hidden patches in a corner that, you have to come around a rock to see. So for me, it's exploring the world. So it's like boots hit the ground. Which way do I go? I guess spin in a circle and pick one way and go. Exploring the world to me is what I really want to do. So I know that's not exactly a closed-in answer, but yeah, I want to see culture.
I think it's still valid, though.
Travel, see the world. Can't do it in real life. Do it there.
Does Aviana have the same vision as you for this?
Not so much. Avi has a little bit. She would obviously love to see the world, but she's really focused on the Elven lands. She writes a lot about basic lore and very basic explanation and descriptions in our backstories of where we live. So we've tried to take a little piece out of maybe the Elven lands and forge our own little spot in there. And right now we have to keep things quite vague because we haven't had a chance to get in and see the Elven lands and how they're structured and the way it works, type of buildings, the fauna, that kind of thing. So she's really looking forward to kind of chomping into the Elven lands. She's, really excited, even though she's going to play a human. She's super excited about seeing the Elven lands.
Great. So tell us about one of your most standout or funniest moments in the previous MMO experiences.
Oh my goodness. I've been gaming for almost 18 years, so there's quite a few.
That's it? Come on.
Yeah, right? This is the question that stays.
I think I've only got you beat by 3 years.
I guess, if we go back from first moments, there was the very first time I ever logged into EverQuest and tried to talk to who I thought was a player character. And, after a few minutes of them not answering me, I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, these people are so rude. I'm never going to play this game, and then I find out that it's an NPC, so they don't usually do that. So that was one of them. The first time I got a res, oh my God, I was mad. I'm standing there and I'm full health and full mana, but my body's laying there. And this guy comes up and says, I'll res you. And I'm thinking how wonderful that must be. He's offering me this amazing thing. And the next thing I know, I jump from where I'm standing to my corpse, and now I have no health and no mana. And I'm thinking, what the hell did you just do to me? Why did you do this? Why did you think it was awesome? You're so mean. So yeah, my first res was an experience. Big raid. I don't know. A couple of weeks into raiding, we're having this huge raid. We're at the very end boss. the very bottom of a dungeon in a nasty, nasty place, and my internet goes out.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh.
I'm sitting here thinking, okay, when I get back in, hopefully they're still there, you know, and then that moves on to as the night goes on and no internet comes back up, to the next day of myself waking up thinking, what the hell am I going to do? I have got to have a body at the very end of this dungeon, at the very last mob, and there's no way in hell I'm going to get down there. You know, so what do I do? And this is where community matters.
Oh, yeah.
Because I logged into guild chat to find out that they had a monk camped next to my body, a mage camped at the entrance for Call of the Hero, and a cleric up there to res. So, right? Community matters, folks. It's much easier with your friends.
That's incredible, yeah.
Now all I have to do is get some friends.
Really need to. Really do. So yeah, and then for me, with RP, again, I can go back and go through all these amazing experiences. But I'm not going to go back too far in history on this one because it involves my partner, Aviana. We met in Black Desert Online. It's kind of interesting. I was reading the forums one day and I see this post for somebody who's starting a role play tavern, and they want to hire staff to completely staff the tavern as though it were an NPC building, but staffed by player characters. And so I thought, what a magnificent idea. I really want to get involved with this. So I messaged her, and we talked, and over the course of our correspondence, she built this bar, this amazing thing, and she had a full staff working for her. And we had a cook, and we had bartenders, and serving staff, and a bouncer at the door to take your weapons when you came in. So that was a really amazing thing, to stand back and watch 13 other people just doing it, like just having fun and interacting with the patrons and developing relationships themselves that led outside of that tavern. So yeah, that was pretty amazing, and that's where I met Aviana, my partner of PRP.
Excellent. So yeah, if you could pick 3 things to be implemented into Pantheon, what would they be and why?
So you get another duo answer here from me, because yet again, I look at it from both points of view, from my technical gaming and my role play. So for me, raids that change based on the number of raiders present, the types of classes available, again, something that isn't spank and tank corner pinning mobs or ads, or, something that's the raids.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Please. Make an enchanter valuable on a raid other than buffing everybody.
Amen to that.
Right? Give some content for the famed deathers and open it up a bit so it's not just your tanks, your clerics, and everyone else is trying to smash DPS in there.
Everyone else just hits auto tag and walks away.
You just go get a coffee, have a pop. You don't need to be there. Your character does it all for you. So yeah, that's something I'm really excited about. Housing and guild housing. And useful, something you can invite people into your home and enjoy it. You can not necessarily see the chat from all around your house, and it's more like a closed environment, but not instance necessarily. But useful housing. I mean, heck, if we could really get greedy, how about some farms in the backyard and maybe grow some crops, that kind of stuff.
I never thought I'd ever hear someone consider it greedy to ask for a farm.
Right, I just want to grow corn. I just want to grow the corn I have to crash to make flour. I just want to grow my corn for some flowers.
Well, that does add to it, though, doesn't it? Having additional areas set up on your guild house or your house in general. We saw those screenshots a while back that looked like a garden with the apple tree, or the tree school that they had outside, like Throne Fast, where they were growing some new trees. So it could be a possibility. Maybe that's a way to interact into cookery in game, right, by farming your foods and so forth and so forth.
Right, you can forage, or you can go in your backyard. You can plant a seed, and there's a chance that something could wreck that seed. So it's not a guarantee you're going to get your corn, but I think it's a really interesting idea to open up, the yards and stuff and make them useful as well. And from an RP aspect, okay, guys, you're going to kill me here, but interactive table settings. Oh my God, interactive table settings.
Actually, that's not just RP. I used to love designing my house in EverQuest too. And those are one of the things that really bugged me, that nothing was interactive. You couldn't do anything with it. It just stood there. Oh, sitting down on a chair, or lying on your bed, or actually sitting down and engaging with your fork and your knife and your plate and that turkey that you've put on the table.
Sit across from someone that's with you and watch their hand raise as they put food in their mouth. And again, we're not saying real-time action live TV here or anything, but I don't think it's unreasonable to click a chair and sit down, click a plate and eat, click a cup and drink. RPers spend a lot of time typing, right? We have to let you know what we're doing in type. So if we could actually visually show, that just blows my mind. The ability to say, we're going to sit down and have a drink by doing it. So that clothing from an RP aspect, again, is huge.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wear the same dress to go and wander around town that I would wear to go into the deep, dark depths of a tavern or a cave. I'm sorry. It's just not going to be the same stuff.
No.
So, yeah, I'd like an ability to switch wardrobe around a little bit. And I'm not talking crazy cash shop, oh my God, taxi cabs under your butt kind of stuff. Just something that's a little different. Something
and also, the one thing it also, I think, bugs my wife a lot is that women, they have a skimpy armor that doesn't protect, that doesn't look like it would protect them from anything, and yet it's meant to be their tanking armor or something like that. I mean, make it a bit realistic as well.
We totally agree. I am so tired of over-sexualization of female characters. It drives me crazy. Yes, I would like to show in my shape that I'm a female. Even female ogres have a little curve at the waist. But you don't need to see my stomach or, parts of me that should be covered in battle.
Yeah, exactly.
No, not at all what we're looking for. I think sometimes, too, there's a miscommunication when people discuss this topic. You say over-sexualization and people hear feminine. Or they say feminine. It's like there's a disconnect with that word. So when you say, I would like feminine armors, the response we get back quite often is, but I'm tired of
metal bikini.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. This was a heated discussion on our own forums recently where our members, again, were able to discuss it in a very respectful manner, but it was another heated discussion on our forums. The difference between over-sexualization and femininity. Yeah. And how realistic do they get? How realistic to old-time armors do they get? One of our members is very up on, armors from history and how they looked back then and how they looked on men and women. And, so he provides a lot of really wonderful screenshots for us to look at, to get ideas and think about. So how far do they want to take that as well? How realistic do they want the armors to look?
Right. See, I've always, everyone who's been to our Discord knows that I'm a little bit of we'll just say a wild card.
No, Lex, no.
Yeah, I get these moments where I do say stuff that's borderline inappropriate, and I do apologize. But, there's nothing wrong with looking at a very attractive form in a video game of the opposite sex, or whatever sex you find attractive. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is a point where it is so over-sexualized that you're just like, come on. I'm not 15 years old anymore. I'm not trying to play this game with one hand. Can I just have an enjoyable experience here? I mean, if you look at some of these games, I believe Black Desert was one of them. The female characters are basically what I call spank bait.
Oh, just look at the Terror Rising characters. The females all bend over to a 90-degree angle when they run forward.
Oh, it's true. I
It's
forgot
just
about that.
It's just like crazy.
Right.
Yeah, my little girl's in her little bikini top with her tail sticking out, running a half. But you're right. I totally forgot about that. It's like, yeah.
It's so blatantly targeting that young hormone-driven audience that it's almost makes me feel like, oh God, not again.
Exactly.
Right? I'm so done with it. Now, there's one thing I have to mention, because if I don't, Aviana would completely kill me. She really, really will. I think we might have even jumped over. No, we haven't. Okay, so dual mounts, people. Dual mounts on horses.
Oh, yes.
Seriously,
Oh, definitely.
think about
That
that.
would be great.
Right?
I like that.
What game?
We could. Go ahead.
There was a game that had mounts that would, take on multiple people. Which game
Well,
was that?
Well,
Black
WoW has
Desert.
that.
Warcraft does it.
World of Warcraft does it as well.
Yeah, Black Desert does it. Black Desert didn't do it very well, though. I mean, you could have two people on a horse, but the second person didn't move. They were kind of, paged in this kind of sit forward with the butt hanging up in the air stand. So, the second person didn't look so great, but at least you could do it.
The funniest thing is in World of Warcraft, where you take the druid character, and you're the one avatar that you can turn into is a stag, and the other player can jump on your back, and they just sit there, and you can run to the next spot, and they hop off, and then you can fight. It's quite interesting. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say what I'm thinking about that. Like,
Yeah, I know.
So let's carry on, shall we?
Onward.
Onward, exactly. Enough.
Enough.
What is your number one thing from the game tenants that stand out, and why?
Game tenants. I have it. Okay. The requirement that classes have identities. So that comes back to the whole, we need a cleric, we need a tank, we need, so that really jumps out to me, that whole requirements of classes being separate, having jobs to do, and that some game content may be inaccessible if you don't have certain classes.
Yeah.
Right? So that brings us back to, again, trying to be a community and work together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're missing today. So much.
Exactly. Just also another thing as well, which I hope they get right, is that even the NPCs certain NPCs obviously have reoccurring roles and have strong personalities that you can build stories around as well throughout the world.
Right.
So that, I think, is something that has been lost over time, is these actual characters growing as the game grows as well.
Yeah.
I agree. One of my first role play stories I ever wrote was back in EverQuest, and my character's name there was Fairy's Tear, and I used to get so many people who in text would say, "Oh, it's not Fairy's Steer like the cow," So one day I actually wrote this backstory about her to explain the name, and what I did is I actually ran around Felwith. And I, made sure I made note of different NPCs' names and what they were. There's one gentleman there out back by the Clerics Guild who's looking for his lost daughter. And, there's all these NPCs that have a story. So I kind of ran around and talked to a bunch of them and used those to fill in the blanks of my story. So It was really interesting to be able to pull NPCs into my roleplay as well.
Nice.
Oh, that's great.
So, what is your number one thing from the Pantheon difference that you want to see the most?
Ooh, so excited about the idea of a progeny system. I think it's really unique. I've only heard talk of it in one other game, and I'm not sure what they're doing with it, but the progeny system, to me, it just sounds incredible. I'm not necessarily one who would retire a main character per se, but for those who do, I mean, what a great way to say, okay, I've played this character for so long and all they're doing is sitting there collecting dust, so I can start this new amazing character and start over with a few benefits and maybe some prior perception or something from the parents. And so progeny to me is so unique. I just think that's so incredible.
Definitely is. You have to tune in next week then in Catch the Show. We'll be talking about a heritage system that kind of interclines or substitutes.
Intertwines, yeah.
Substitutes the progeny system. Going to be an interesting discussion.
I sure will. I usually tune in with my nice cup of coffee, and yeah, so I'll definitely be there to watch that. It's interesting.
So if you could spend a single day with a person from VR, who would it be and why?
I know the answer. Brad.
Well, just keep in mind here that yarn doesn't work for VR.
It's not Mr. Brad. As much as I think he has this incredible mind to see the things his players want to see in the game, at this point, I think I get to answer twice because I'm answering for an RP site on myself. From my point of view, I would love to spend some time with the game designers. I would love to get in and see how they do their jobs and how, high level their coding is and how they build these amazing worlds. And, so for me, it's that technical aspect first. I'd like to spend some time with Corey or Ken from the design team. Oh my God, blow my mind. And then from an RP aspect, of course, we have the arts and animation guys, because without them, you're not really bringing that amazing game design into the way the world looks. So it's a little hard for me to pick that one apart, between animation, character development, environmental. So can I just say design and art and animation teams? Is that fair?
That's fair. So,
yeah, good.
So on that note, not so much fangirl Brad, huh?
Well, there's a love there, but you gotta, at some point, he created this child and I have to love it more. So, can we say Pantheon fangirl now? Sorry, Brad. I know. You have enough fans though.
You have been outdone by your own creation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yonella doesn't hate you now for life.
Why would I? Why?
Because you're his number one fan.
I'm his number one fangirl, yeah.
We won't compete for that title. I'll totally give it to you. I think he has lots of people who are in that same boat. So, yeah, I'll go the other way.
Okay, so are you a main for game or an alcoholic?
Ooh, yeah, that's tricky too, because I love my main characters. I immerse myself in them. I fall in love with them. Every minute I'm on an alt, I'm wondering what I should have been doing on my main to advance that character. It's like, oh, but I could.
Am I falling behind?
Right? Are my friends all 5 levels ahead of me now? Can I not go with them? Do I? It just no. Get off the alt. And from RP aspect again, my backstory is so developed and in depth, and I'm not a big fan of just, knocking out a quick character to do something. I kind of have to bring them to life. So one's kind of enough at a time for me. So yeah, more of a main person. So
let's get into what we're here for, to also talk about Pantheon Roleplayers website. So I'm going to bring it up on screen for you guys to interact with me and Alexis while we go through these questions. So, tell us about your fan site. What's it about? What can people expect?
Well, the fan site started off, my partner and I were sitting down and talking about Pantheon and a way that we wanted to get involved with the community. And RP is such, it's usually left to the end. It doesn't get much attention in the beginning. So we decided that, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring a voice of role players into the world, and maybe a little sooner than it might have come on its own. And yeah, we really wanted to foster that. So it's a passion project of both of us. We both work on it with love, and that's, basically where it came from, was the desire to get involved with the Pantheon world, but bring something we're passionate about to the forefront. And so let's see where you are on the website.
I'm on the home section. Yeah.
Okay. So the way we want people to look at PRP is that it is predominantly a role player website, but it's also, we want it to be a community website. So when you're looking at the site, we want it to look kind of like an art project. It is a little more creative and a little more colorful than, a database site or a crafting site, maybe even a class site. But that's because we're trying to create the creative environment from the minute you walk onto the site. We want you to come in and feel like you're in a different place. And we're trying to use textures and images of, that remind people of Pantheon. So when you drop on the home site, you'll find the homepage with Alex's Corner, and that's the blog where I try to write about Pantheon and the things that I'm kind of passionate about. And, we try to have posts on our homepage that are provocative, that ask questions, that provide information. So Avi recently wrote a post, PRP, and the fear of role play. There's so many people that would love to role play, but they're a little afraid to get involved. They don't know how to start. Maybe they've even had a bad experience with somebody who was very rigid in the way they role play. So, this article was to try to get people to see that you don't have to know all the terminology. You don't have to have the language. You just have to have an interest and a desire, to get involved. So we want to make sure that there's information on the front page that brings people in and makes them want to read a little bit further. Yeah.
Very nice.
So there's also a couple of features on the site that we think are kind of exciting. Under the RP tab, you'll find something really unique called the RP Finder. And this is a tool that we discovered during our time in Black Desert, and the creators have gracefully allowed us to use it here with some adjustments. But basically, it allows you to post and see people who are looking for role play in the game at this moment. So, Lex, you log in and you want to take your beautiful scar. And, get into some role play. So you can post a message and let people know like who you are, where you are, what you're looking for. If you want a long role play, a short role play, you can kind of get all the details fleshed out there. Or you can simply just look and see, okay, there's 5 people who are looking for role play. I'm going to pop in and say hello. So that's a feature on our site that we think is really unique.
I'm going to have to make a macro now when the game is live that just says, I'm here and I'm looking for some play.
Yeah, but then you have to join our site, Lex. You have to register.
Oh, I'll do it right now.
Oh, yay, finally.
And now everyone's going to come to you and be like, why did you let him here? Why did you do this to us? I thought you liked us.
Oh, yeah, we know there's a safe word thing involved. We're gonna
have to get our RP bad boys on, Lex, and cause some havoc.
Me.
We'll come in as the rowdies, Josh, me, and Lex, and we'll cause some uproar in the tavern.
Oh yeah.
So get Art, get Rez. We got a couple other people that really enjoy it. So, I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to see those guys get into some of that.
Well, again, everybody's welcome. So, yeah, bring all your friends. We have bouncers, and if we give them enough ale, they do their jobs. So, yeah.
Get Grandma signed up.
Right. Yeah, that's so interesting. Do scars have grandparents?
Yeah,
No,
but they
don't
don't
eat
tend to
them.
last long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was just kind of wondering which way it goes. Do you eat the young or do you eat the old?
It's actually
Whichever one
survival.
comes out on top.
It's actually survival of the fittest, and
That's right.
apparently the older ones are the ones that are fitter.
Ooh. Well, that's a really interesting concept. I guess they ran longer? I don't know.
More
That's a really-
cardio.
Yeah. That's
They
the
eat.
ticket.
They eat as they breed.
Oh god, now I just got a horrifying image. I'm not going to share that one.
Yeah, you guys remember I close my eyes and imagine things, so we just really don't want to go there.
Oh,
Let's go
and
back.
look at the front page. There's no longer a shiny Yarnilla on the front page. Yeah.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Look.
Refresh.
Oh, Lex, I don't see you. You said you came. Oh, there you are. There you are. And you should have
I am not added to that because we are a somewhat PG show.
Well, I'm sure my partner's got you tagged already, so you're good to go, I'm sure.
Lex, I think PG for this show today is out the window.
It's gone.
The innuendo is deep in this room.
Yep.
Yeah. So also on the website, we provide forums. If you want to pop over and take a look at those. We have provided full forum modules. Now, they can look a little daunting right now because we really aren't sure. We don't have a ton of information. So we are kind of doing our best to build what we think people will want to see. And as the site develops and gets bigger and more grown up, we'll take out stuff people don't use and add stuff that the users request. So I know it can look a little overwhelming right now, but yeah, it's amazing. There's a lot of places for people to be creative and talk. There's, introductions. We have places for fan creations. So if you're really, a painter or something and you want to get your fan creations out there, there's a place for that in the forums. We like to link back to other fan sites as well. So we have guides on resources, on crafting, on fashion and stuff, but we do it from an RP perspective. So, you know, if you want to find out what this really cool outfit looks like and talk about it in RP, you can do that here. But if you want to find out where you get it, we have a link to Pantheon 101. If you want to find out how to make something and you're sitting here writing a story and you're really, you know, immersed in your RP, but you want to know how to make this item, we have a link to the crafter site. You know, same thing with the classes. If you're sitting there reading about classes and you're creating a character in your mind, right now, you know, we're trying to link out to the different class sites. So yeah, we're trying to use the resources that are available to us in the community without recreating other people's jobs like other people have done.
Very cool.
Yeah, so then, you know, there's also the calendar. I forgot about that. So the calendar is a place where you can post RP events in the future. So if you want to hold an event and you want the community to know about it, you can actually submit it through the calendar, and it will be displayed on the calendar page as well as the homepage.
I felt the pressure and I signed up.
Peer pressure.
Fear, do it! Yeah, it's my favorite saying today.
All the cool kids are doing it. Sign up, people, right now. Let's go.
You got to.
No, somebody link the site as well in Twitch if it hasn't already happened.
Do it. There's one more really amazing thing. Well, not one more. There's so many amazing things about our site. And honestly, I want to talk about the lore book, but I also kind of want to get the message in there that as much as we're talking about this site, the user experience is so much better. So if you're even remotely interested, I think you should pop in and take a look at the site for yourself. But while you're there, make sure you click on the lore tab. Aviana has taken the time to create an amazing flip book. So you're welcome to read the lore in our forums in a text-based in case you're on, you know, device and you just want to quickly read. But if you're interested in the flip book, it's actually, not loading for you. Great.
Windows update.
I like
Windows
it. I like
update.
it.
Right, not me,
Very
not
nice.
me. It's not our tech. But yeah, you can load the book and you can sit and actually flip through it and hear the pages turning and see some illustrations. And, you know, I think she's done an amazing job here. And I think it makes somebody who maybe doesn't want to read the text in just, you know, black and white text, maybe something that, you know, somebody would pick up who might not
Now,
normally read it.
I'm a person, I enjoy reading, but when I'm at a computer, I'm actually not a big fan of reading. Is there any plan of someone doing like an audio version of it?
You bet.
I eat that alive.
We
No pun
are.
intended.
Oh, we've got a Twitch channel and it's coming live shortly. And we plan to do all sorts of voice in that channel. RP interviews, reading about RP, reading lore, you know, different talks with different people in the RP community. So there will be definitely a voice component to our site. It's coming, I promise.
So there's 134 pages, but I ain't going to go through all of them.
No, but look at the amazing artwork. Like, she's done such a wonderful job with this. It was a labor of love for her, for sure. Flipbook is not an easy thing to manage when you're trying to use fonts and textures and graphics. And
Well,
so that's a pretty amazing
myself being a little bit of a web guy, there's a lot of little things that I see that are, you know, kudos is all I gotta say. Like, if you look at the background of the pages, they're not just the same one over and over. Sometimes they're reversed, sometimes it looks like they might even be flipped. And to someone that does a lot of this kind of stuff, it really makes it feel like she went the extra mile.
Mm-hmm.
And she really did. She pretty much does all of the graphical work on our site, and she always goes that extra mile. She's never happy. My avatar, the one you guys are probably seeing right now, she created it, and I think it's just beautiful. But of course, she sees little flaws everywhere. So yeah, she's a perfectionist, and she's extremely creative. So we get to experience and enjoy her work on the website in almost everything she does. But she's incredible at painting a picture for people.
Makes me wish I was a little more artsy. That's all I can say.
That's how I feel.
In terms of being like a developer or whatever, I'm the guy that makes stuff work. I don't make it pretty. So I've got a lot of respect for anyone that can make something pretty. And this is gorgeous.
Yeah, she's got an amazing eye. She was the first person to make me see beauty in a game. I was all end game rating, have to be at the end of the game, have to have the best in slot gear, have to. And we're running around one day and she stops dead in her tracks and looks at me and says, "Isn't that pretty?" I'm like, what the hell are you talking? What's pretty? What are you talking about? What's pretty? You know, like there's a mob right there. It's just like, but look, we'll kill the mob, but look at the sunset. And I'm like, oh. Oh, okay. So we can kill the mob and still enjoy the sunset. Well, this is awesome.
It's actually kind of funny because that's kind of how my wife is. I'm the person who's like, I just want to kill things. But then she's like, okay, stop. Look at this tree for a minute. And I'm like, okay, why? She's like, there's a face in the texture of the tree trunk.
Right?
And I'm sitting there going, no way.
They're
And
almost
it's like, I never would have saw it.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing Avi helps me see in the world, is the neat little textures that maybe they're not Easter eggs, but they just kind of naturally look like other things. And yeah, she sees those things as I'm busy running by trying to find, I don't know, wherever it is I'm looking for, and I'm usually lost. So yeah, she's our visual girl. So then if you move from lore, we've kind of talked about the RP section, you know, the events calendar, the RP finder. You'll see the fashion tab under there as well. Again, for people who want to kind of look at what they're talking about. And so that's that. The gallery. The gallery is where we want members and users to post really pretty scenes they see in the world, things that speak to them, you know, maybe character images of their characters, different scenes, different outfits, RP events. So we hope that that gallery section fills up pretty quick.
I should actually be talking more, but I'm kind of like going through the links on my own. Sidetracked.
It's hard to look away from her book. I know, it's stunning. I should have left that for the last. That's what I should have done. Left the book till the end. So yeah. Then our More tab is where we try to link to the sites. We try to show, as I said earlier, a lot of support for the other fan sites in Pantheon. We're a fairly small community at this point, and I think by supporting and promoting each other, we'll just, you know, make things better and get bigger. And then in time, you have that community of fan site creators who've worked together and, you know, been there from the early days. So we try to support and promote. So even if it doesn't necessarily apply to role play, if there's a fan site or a database site out there we think our members will enjoy, we try to list those under the More tab.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And then
Nothing
of course,
wrong with spreading the love.
right? We all get by on the love, and we all want everybody to know we're out there. So I think the best promotion is our own voices and speaking on each other's behalf and, you know, supporting that way. So it's really important, I think. And then, of course, our contact tab. If you want to, you know, send us a message and tell us how lovely our website is, or I guess conversely, if you have some, you know, constructive feedback, it's more than welcome. And the contact tab is there for you to get in touch with us if you'd like. But we also on the front page have the chat, which, you know, people monitor and watch and get involved in and chit chat. And then we also have Discord. So there's, you know, a few ways to get in touch with us.
Nice. So Lex, I think you're up with the next question.
Okay.
Well, let's go. Make me
I didn't drop the ball at all.
No.
So, have you always had an interest in role-playing?
It was kind of, when I hit the ground in EQ, I knew it was an RPG. So, you know, I knew to say hail and well met and good day, sir, and things like that. But as far as writing a you know, backstory, stuff like that took quite a while for me. I was more about wrapping my head around the controls and getting into the technical aspect, because that's really what spoke to me back then. The RP came, you know, I dabbled a bit, like I said, in EQ, EQ2, but Age of Conan, that was the game for me, where RP exploded.
Well, okay. And is the site open to everyone?
Yes. The site is open to everyone to come and view. If you would like to post in the forums, we just ask that you register simply, you know, as a way to kind of control what happens in those forums. So the only thing you have to actually register to do is, you know, respond or post, but the site is open to anybody. if you're an RPer, a curious person, if you're just interested in looking at what the creative community in the game you're supporting is doing, you know, everyone is welcome. Basically, yeah, we want everyone to come, feel comfortable, be part of the community.
Nice. So, what can people expect to see in the future on the website?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to give too much away because our site.
Scars.
Yeah, we're gonna have a hunt for those guys. We're gonna hunt you guys down. We do want to have things coming in the future like roleplay profiles, roleplay interviews. As I said, we want to do some Twitch work and have that come back to the site. Something that Avi is working on that is really exciting is a custom profile section where you can actually get in and build something that looks like a website. And she's taken and put all of this art and animation, and the pages look amazing. She's done a lot of the HTML coding and made it so you can basically copy and paste code and insert images. And I would show you, but I think we're gonna wait and unveil that one at a later date. But yeah, it's going to be extremely exciting. People are going to have the opportunity to have their own little mini web page within our site where they can truly bring their character alive.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very, very cool.
Now, we've more or less answered the next question, which was what your guild preference is. But I'm going to go off script for here.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, if there are guild alliances, what kind of restrictions, or if there would be restrictions to be like an alliance with the in-game entity of Pantheon Roleplayers?
Well, I don't think we would be exclusatory because to have roleplay, antagonists are fantastic. There's nothing better than a good bad guy. You know, we all love a good bad guy. We all love those dark and brooding characters who sit in the corner of a room and just grunt at you all the time. So I think excluding, I don't see us being exclusatory based on that fact alone. We want to encourage all types of role play. We want to have all different kinds of characters and communications. So yeah, I don't think we would exclude any alliance. I think unfortunately even the Scar are welcome.
I resemble that accusation.
You really, really do.
you
really
do resemble a lot. So what other interests outside of gaming do you have?
Well, currently, I am really busy with the PRP website, the promotion of Fansites, and all the Twitter and my Twitch channel, getting that up and running. And so life outside the box right now, you know, it's kind of small, but, you know, when I get the chance, I'm a, you know, hobbyist photographer and, you know, I love animals. But yeah, right now, life's pretty much centering around this little box on my desk. Which I love, by the way. It's not a labor, it's totally a passion.
Yep. So, do you have a ritual for longer gaming sessions? What are they?
Gaming sessions. It's fudge, for starters. I'm a fudge girl. I used to have this belief that, you know, I'd have this fudge in my kitchen and I'd take this tiny little piece of fudge every night before a raid. And if I didn't have my fudge, we wiped. It was like no fudge, no win. You know, no fudge equal wipe. You know, just not cool. So it was always having that little piece of fudge on my desk. It was like, you know, not shaving my beard during playoff season or something.
Well, my wife loves you already. She loves fudge.
So we're down to the most important question. Every other question pales in comparison to the importance of this one. Who is the VoT host with the most?
Well, you know, I think Josh is in there because, you know, he's not a Scar.
Oh, yeah.
That's racist!
That's Scarist.
You know, and
that's the worst kind of discrimination. The kind against me.
You know, I just think, Lex, you're really amazing. You promote role play. You talk about it. Yarn, you're really amazing at describing environments and atmospheres. And you guys really just promote our piece. So it's quite difficult. So it all has to come back down to, you know, the classes and characters. And yeah, Josh, you win.
Woo!
I suppose it's got to be
Wait,
one.
hang on a minute. Classes and characters. Hey, I'm a cleric.
You're a cleric? Well,
Oh,
then,
wow.
baby, I love you more. Like, Resme. Come on. I'm just, come on. Yeah. You got the love. You got it.
We're editing that part out.
It's
we'll cut
live.
that out.
It's live.
Which reminds me, Yarn, we still have to figure out. We got to tally them all and figure out what the loser's going to do.
Oh,
Ooh, can
definitely.
I have a say in that? Can I be in on that? Can I help pick?
We could have the
Awesome.
people that did the interviews with us pick.
Ooh, let us vote.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
So-
exciting.
Your final words for VR.
First off, keep up the good work. I think you guys listen to your fans really well, and I think that's super important. So that's amazing. And second, please don't forget character development. Please, 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 please. The character creator. We're not looking for Black Desert Online type thing, but more than a few little sliders would make me happy, happy, happy.
So that brings us to the end of the interview. It was a blast having you on, Alexis. Next Thursday, we will be theory crafting yet again on an idea that Dayhawk brought to me, and we expanded on it on the Heritage system. So look forward to that show. It's going to be very interesting, I would like to say, to see what we come up with as to theory craft and ideas on how to have this system coexist with the Progeny system, or have it maybe supplement it, and definitely going to be a very interesting discussion. And after that, we will be talking about future races, which kind of intertwines with the Heritage system. So
Yes.
we'll be doing that next Thursday, and we hope you enjoyed the show today, and we will see you all next Thursday. Quickly check, all messed up. Yep, next Thursday for that one. And again, have a great evening, and see you all soon. And don't forget, can somebody link in the Roleplayers website again?
Yes, please. I'd like to actually thank you guys for taking the time to acknowledge us in the community and bring us forward. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure.
You're welcome.
Pleasure's all ours.
Exactly. So if you're interested in role playing, or even not, please
Even
check it
mildly
out.
curious.
Exactly. Because
Like you got nothing to lose, everything to gain.
we
Just check out the awesome artwork, even.
Yeah.
Awesome.
we discussed this before we went live. Everybody role plays without even knowing it.
They
So,
do.
it's definitely worth checking out. And thanks for joining us and doing this with us. And maybe sometime again, if you're interested in coming on, discussing something with us, just hit us up.
Would love
Yeah.
to, guys. Looking forward to it.
Good night, everyone.
Have
Be
a great
safe,
night, guys.
people.
Bye.
Play hard.